Hello everyone, welcome to the live session about laser hair reduction. Let's wait for some more people to join and then maybe we can begin. I think a lot of people have joined by now, so maybe we can start. So hello everyone, thank you for joining us for this live session. I hope you all are doing really well. In the last few sessions, we have met some of the experts who helped us understand laser hair reduction as a process and also helped us to bust some myths related to it. We also got to know how seamlessly the machine functions on the unnecessary hair and can help us get rid of our regular waxing pains. While I'm sure that all of the past sessions are quite informative as well as insightful, there are certain questions that are frequently asked about laser hair reduction. So in today's session, we are back with Dr. Molal and Dr. Afreen who will help us address those questions. Dr. Molal is a PG diploma in clinical cosmetology with 12 years of experience, and Dr. Afreen has completed her fellowship in medical cosmetology. Welcome, Dr. Molal and Dr. Afreen. Thank you for joining us again today. My first question is to Dr. Molal. Dr. Molal, if you could help the audience understand what is laser hair reduction and how it is better than other hair removal methods.
Sure. Hi, Shubhangi. Hi, everyone. So let me start with the explanation about laser hair reduction in easy terms to put it across to you. First of all, it is a very, very simple and it is a painless procedure. It uses a concentrated beam of light, okay, to remove the unwanted hair. Now, you must be wondering how. What happens in laser hair reduction is a light gets emitted, which is absorbed by the pigment, which is the melanin pigment in your hair. Melanin is a black color pigment which is present in the hair. Okay, so we see our hair is darker in color, black in color. It is basically because of this melanin. So this melanin basically absorbs this light. Okay, and there the light energy gets converted into heat energy. Okay, so in normal terms the process is known as photothermolysis. So the light energy, photo is light, thermo is heat, so light energy is getting converted into heat energy. So this eventually damages the tube like sacs which are present, beneath the skin. We call them as hair follicles that produces the hair. Now, this damage is going to inhibit or it is going to delay, your hair growth process. Now, this is about laser hair reduction. Now, many of us would be wondering how is this different compared to, raising or compared to waxing. Now, the two procedures, razor and waxing, basically, it has no effect towards the hair follicle. What happens in razor is we shave off the hair till the skin level, so basically the root here is intact. Okay, so it's just that the shaft of the hair or the top part of the hair basically is removed. Okay, but the root, since it is intact, so after a few days you would see that the hair starts popping out again. Also in waxing, what happens is definitely the hair is pulled off away from the root, quite from a deeper layer, I would say. Okay, but again, the process here is the same. The hair follicle still lies intact here, so you would see again after a few days the hair starts growing back again. So I would say it is always much much better getting a laser hair reduction done. And also these days, if you see, the lifestyle of us is so busy. All the ladies are busy. They're working ladies, so we hardly get time to book appointments and go to a particular place to get any service done. So urban company basically is a bliss when we talk about this. You're going to get the service done at your home, at the convenience of your home, as per the time whenever you're looking forward to.
That's great. That's great, Dr. Molal. Thank you so much for helping us understand, what the process is like. Before we move on to the next question, I would like to, announce that if anyone of the audience, like people, have any question, they can just write the question in the comment box and use the hashtag Laser Lounge, hashtag UC Laser Lounge actually. And we will be picking up the questions, and top five lucky winners will get a 10% off on laser hair reduction. Apart from that, if you also want to know more about laser hair reduction, so there is a link which is pinned in the comment box. Please go and check out the link, and you can maybe side by side understand a little bit more. Now, my next question is to Dr. Afreen. So, The next question is, it's asked by most of the people that, why it is called laser hair reduction and not laser hair removal.
Hello everyone. So see, this is we always call it as a laser hair reduction. It is not a permanent solution, but we do say it's a permanent solution. That is why we are not using the word removal, we are using the word reduction. That means it is going to reduce your hair to the maximum of 80 to 90%. The reason behind here is when we are passing the light, as Dr. Monal said, ki light energy jati hai, then there's a heat generated, and then we destroy the follicle out there. So every follicle is having a tendency to rebuild. New एक follicle वापस से बनना start होता है. That's every follicle having a tendency. So here in this case, what we are doing, we are damaging the follicle. We are not destroying the follicle. So there is a tendency कि damage में से again the hair can regenerate. So that is why we are calling it as a reduction, not removal. The other reason behind this is one more thing. There's an hormonal issues. You know, we female have an hormonal issues at every stage of life. Right now, I'm in my teens, so there's some other hormone which is prominent. Then the menses start, hormones change. Okay, then you are married, you are pregnant, hormones change. Again, you delivered, breastfeeding hormones. So there's a sequence of hormonal changes which is happening in our body. So in that case, I can't promise you which hormone is prominent in that case, and there can be again the new hair which is not there normally, but they will come up. So this is interlinked between like your hair follicle will come, it will regenerate again, and if you have an hormonal issues, again I can say that there is a tendency of that follicle to regenerate. So that is why there is no removal term we are using, because removal means it is going permanently, it's not coming back. Reduction means it can come back, but I will say it is not going to come back 100%. Like supposedly if you have a particular area of 10 hairs, so out of the 10 hairs, 8 to 7 hairs or maximum 9 hairs which are going, they are not going to come back. But there can be a possibility one or two hairs can bounce back, because that follicle was not destroyed, and it's not possible to destroy every follicle. Our body is having like millions of follicles, right? So it is not possible to destroy हर एक follicle को हम destroy नहीं कर सकते हैं. So that is why जहाँ पे damage हो गया है, that there is no destruction or something, so there can be a possibility it can regenerate again. So the term itself says, people do say it's a permanent वापस नहीं आएगा, but no, we are sticking to like once you have done with all your session, there will be a requirement of a maintenance also, because in case if your body is regenerating some follicles, the quality of the hairs will eventually be very finer. It is not going to back where we started from, like a thick black hair obviously, but the hairs which will come, they'll be finer, but they can come not 100%, but out of that 10 to 15% if they're bouncing back, then that is a maintenance session required, and which goes lifelong, कि every 6 months or in a year depending on the growth आपको लेना पड़ता है. So that is why it is reduction, not removal. I hope
Thank
that
you,
was.
Dr. Yes, yes. Thank you, Dr. Afreen, for explaining that really well. I think that answers a lot of my questions also. So, next question is to Dr. Monal. Dr. Monal, this question is very interesting. I mean, many people have again asked it. So, they are asking that if they have oily skin, or maybe, in case they face acne issues frequently, can they go for laser hair reduction? Like, can they go for this treatment?
Absolutely, why not? So, if you have acne, right, we first need to subside the acne. Now, there are two things here. If we have a lot of acne on our skin, definitely at that point of time, we cannot perform the laser. We wait till the acne gets subsided. So, that's the reason we have, the consultation prior to the service. So, you are going to speak to the doctor. The doctor will guide you what kind of medications you can use so that, your acne gets subsided, they dries up, okay, and then we can go ahead with the laser session, okay. But if there are some 4 5 acne which is there on the skin, okay, usually the professionals basically cover the acne, okay, and then they do the service. Now, why we cannot do it on the acne prone skin, or basically on the skin where there are active acne, is because when we do laser hair reduction prior to this, when we give the shots, basically we need to shave the area. Now, if you have a acne, active acne which is there, there are complete chances, okay, that it will burst the acne, okay, and there are chances the customer may have some sort of discomfort, so we don't want that to happen. So that's the reason it's always better, let's subside those acne and then you can take up the laser session.
Understood, understood. Thank you so much, Dr. Molan. That sounds very interesting and very, feels like everything will be taken care of during the laser hair reduction session, and no, nothing will happen to the skin, basically, even if acne are there. Now, I think let's take some audience questions. I know a lot of people are watching this live session. Let's take a couple of them, and then maybe we can go ahead with the most, frequently asked questions. So, Mala is asking, what should I do if there are any side effects? Dr. Afreen, if you could help us answer this question.
Usually in laser, when we talk about side effect, there are no major side effects that we should come there. I'm not saying there's no side effects. I can say, in case if there's a side effect which is happening also, that can be maximum a rashes or a burn in a severe matlab maximum I'm talking about, like in 1,000 we talk about one case which we can encounter, there can be a redness, rashes or a burn. Usually no major side effects, these are the minor side effects first thing. And these side effects are also very tackable because the laser light, it is not penetrating very deep inside. We have that limitation of the light, so till the follicle is there, it's not going deep down. So if there's a burn also, supposedly to an extreme case I'm talking about, if there's a burn also, it is not going to leave the scar or a pigmentation out there. Eventually when your skin will heal, the healing period is 14 days of our skin, right? So in a 14 to 15 days you can see it is your skin is again getting healed up, and then you are going back to where it started from. So you, that is the thing, no major side effect. In case if there's any side effect also in urban company, if I'll talk about, so we are sitting back, all the patient is having a dedicated doctors. So we are sitting back here, in case if they have some issues or something, they can any which ways ask to us, we are there to help them out. We'll just prescribe them what to use, what not to use, and within 24 to 48 hours that reactions will subside, and then the results will come. So not to worry about the side effects, anybody can go with the laser service.
I think that's quite relieving to hear, Dr. Afreen. People usually have these things in mind. It's better that, we get it cleared. And that's why this live session is conducted. So thank you so much, Dr. Afreen. I hope, Mala, that answers your question. Audience, if you have any more questions, we'll take one more right now, and rest of the questions we'll keep taking through the live session. Just keep using hashtag UC Laser Lounge, and you can get a chance to win 10% off on your laser hair reduction session. Okay, next question is by Karuna. Karuna is asking, what should I expect after the treatment? Dr. Monal, if you could help us answer this question.
Sure. Hi, Karuna. So, Karuna, after the treatment, now there are two things. If you are asking me after a single session or after a complete treatment, now I'll answer both the questions for you. If you're talking about a single session, what you're going to expect is a 10 to 15% of hair reduction, which will be there. In some cases, it may go up to 30% also, because it depends upon what amount of hair of yours was there in the growing phase while you were getting the session done. Okay, but if you talk about a complete session, now this depends upon your your skin texture. It depends upon your your hair texture. So that's why we have doctors who are going to basically check your skin type. They're going to check your hair type. Based on that, they will be telling you how many number of sessions would be required. Now the sessions can go up to 6 to 8 or 10 to 12. It all depends upon the medical condition also. If there are any medical condition, the session numbers basically goes up here. But overall, you would see almost a 80 to 90% of hair reduction by the end of your 6 to 8 sessions, or by the end of your 10 to 12 session, as per your requirement.
I think that answers Karuna's question, Dr. Moral. Now let's go back to a few more questions which are usually asked by the audience, and then maybe we can go and pick up more audience questions. Before that, I would like to announce that if anyone of you would want to know more about laser hair reduction, just go to the pin comment and check that link out. You will be able to get your answers. Now, next question is to Dr. Afreen. Dr. Afreen, then menopause or
We
PCOD.
lost your voice, Shubhangi, in between.
Uh, am I audible now? I think
Right.
there is a little network glitch. Yeah. So I'll just ask you again. So, Dr. Afreen, the question is, if anyone has any health issues other than menopause or PCOD, so would you advise laser hair reduction, or do they have to consult the doctor before taking it?
First thing, laser hair reduction we can suggest to the patient who's having an hormonal issues. PCOD is what? Basically, it's an hormonal issues, right? or any other hormonal issues, we can suggest to them like, yeah, laser is the only solution for them, to be very frank. Because in PCOD or hormonal issues, the hair growth which usually come is not normal. Like in a normal case, when we talk about, we don't have a hair over the chin or the upper chin, upper neck area, right? It is usually a male pattern growth. But in when we have an hormonal issues, in that case we do see these things. And the hair growth is so faster that in people who might be listening, जिनको PCOD या hormonal issues, and they know कि within a week अगर वो निकाल भी देते हैं, within a week it pops out. So again and again going back to the parlor or tweezing it out is not the solution for it. Laser is something that can be the solution. The first thing, the number of sessions will definitely increase in this case, because we can't say how prominent which hormone in your body. Along that, so number of session in laser it can increase, but they have to go to their doctor also. They have to get the hormonal issues sorted, and then they can proceed with the laser service. So there is no issues, and I guess laser is the best option for them. Apart from then, any medical issues, like I'll talk the other thing, contraindication also in this case. So if you're pregnant or you're a breastfeeding, so in that case, strictly we say please don't go for a laser. Laser is not going to interfere in your pregnancy or in your breastfeeding, but as we were talking about a hormonal issue, that's why I'm just relating it. So in a pregnancy, there are different hormones which are prominent. And because of hormone, I can promise you there's no proper result what you desire. So you are taking the session with the desired result you can't get, because there is an hormonal issues which is happening in your body. It's not an issue, it's a good thing in a pregnancy and all that stuff. So basically there's an hormone which is prominent, and because of that we are not going to deliver. You are not going to be satisfied with the delivered result. So it's better to avoid in these two cases. If you are having, first settle down that, come back to the normal stage, and then proceed with the laser. That can help us out. But if you're not conceiving or breastfeeding or lactating, in that case, if you have a PCOD issues, you're taking pills and you're consulting your gynae, so you can definitely go for the laser treatment. And there are other medical conditions also which we can talk later, I guess.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Afreen. I think that answers quite a few questions. Moving on to the next, Dr. Monal, I have this question for you. So we have been receiving a lot of questions, in the last few live sessions regarding the safety about the process of laser hair reduction. Everyone wants to know if the process is safe, or would it lead to any damage on the skin, or it maybe, even any redness, or will it leave any scar on the skin. So if you could help audience know if there are any side effects or something.
Sure, Shivani. See, when we talk about the safety, right, safety standards, first thing, you are at urban company, taking a service at urban company. So safety is our priority basically. So we keep that at first level. Okay. So we here three things are there. One thing, first thing will be the machine what we are using. Okay. So the appliance what we are using is a high end appliance. Okay. This is basically a diode machine what we are using, and it is a triple wavelength, so it's quite safe enough to be taken, plus it is US FDA approved. Also this machine has a chill tip. Okay, so the first thing what a customer is going to experience will be a cool feeling. Okay, so that there is no discomfort while the session is happening. Okay, so this is about the machines. Second thing is we have trained doctors here who are basically going to take up your consultation, and prior to your consultation, if the doctor gives you a green signal, then only you will be able to take up the complete session, or a single session, or a complete session. And the third thing is the professional who comes to do the service at your place. Okay, so the professional who will be coming is again a trained professional who has an experience of minimum 5. Basically, we all have all the professionals who have an experience of more than 5 years, plus they are UC certified as well. So there is a separate training given from UC side. So once they're certified, they are allowed to do the services at the customer's place. So keeping all these safety standards in mind, we have planned up, this whole setup to be done at the customer's place. Okay, so you can be safe. It's absolutely safe, and you don't need to worry about your sessions at all. We are there to help you out.
That's great. That's great, Dr. Monal. In fact, if anyone of you from the audience wants to know a little bit more about Urban Company's laser hair reduction, you can go on to the link which is pinned in the comment box, and you will find your answers there. Now, I think let's take a couple of audience questions. I know we have been receiving a lot of questions. They're just pouring in. So if we can just start with. Okay, so Raj is asking Dr. Afreen if you could help us answer this. Does laser hair reduction lighten darken armpits?
Laser hair reduction, I won't promise you that it will help you out in lightening or darkening your area, whichever it is, might be your hands or he's talking about armpits, right, Raj? So, laser hair reduction, the machine which we are using, it's a diode. So, it is purely for the hair reduction. It is not going to increase the pigmentation, it is not going to decrease the pigmentation. It's purely going to work on the hairs. Now, there can be a chemophagic effect when the area is slim, eventually, it will look lighter. When the area is densely packed with the hairs, it will look darker. So that is something different. When it's getting cleaner, like we have less number of hairs, fine hairs quality, which is coming after every session. So you can see the armpit area comparatively lighter, but again, as I am saying, it is not going to work on the pigmentation of your skin.
Okay, okay. I think that answers Raj's question. Now, if we can take up next question, I can see audience are not using hashtag UC Laser Lounge. If you can use that hashtag, then you will also get a chance to win 10% off on any laser hair reduction service that you take from Urban Company. So I would encourage every one of you out there to use hashtag UC Laser Lounge. The next question is from Vaishnavi. Dr. Monal, if you could help us answer this. What is the cost of laser hair reduction?
See, we have trial sessions at Urban Company, which starts from 999. Okay, Vaishnavi. So you can always opt for that. That's basically to give you a glimpse of how exactly the things work. So you will have a feel of the complete treatment, how it is done, how the professional comes to your place, how the parameters are set, and how the session will be done. So this is a trial session, but overall, you'd require minimum of 6 to 8 sessions. So only app we have, bundles or packages of 3 sessions. We have 6 sessions, okay, which are basically on a discount. So we have, different packages for different body parts. Now, it all depends upon which body part are you planning to take. So you can always refer to the app and you can check it out there. You will get the complete information there.
Thank you so much, Dr. Monal, to help us answer Vaishnavi's question. Vaishnavi, if you want to know more, you can, of course, go to the pinned comment, and that will take you to the Urban Companies app, and you can actually check out all the prices which are there and what all body parts are there. Now, I think let's get back to the frequently asked questions. So, Dr. Afrin, if you could help us answer, even I have this question: that what are the minimum number of sessions required? Will a person be able to see results in just one session, or do they require more sessions? And if more, then how many?
Okay. Laser hair reduction is never done in a single session, that we must know. It always requires set number of session depending on your medical conditions. Like if you are like you don't have an hormonal issues, you don't have any other issues, so it can be 6 to 8, depending on your medical condition. If you have some hormonal issues like PCOD, thyroid, or menstrual irregularity, then it can go up to like 10 to 12 also. First thing. Secondly, it depends on the area wise also. So this thing you must know, like wherever there is a thick growth, the number of session you require is less. Wherever there is a fine growth, the number of session is eventually more, which we require. Like supposedly when I talk about the body part, when we talk about underarms area, the quality of the hair is thick and it is darker. So the result which we get is like we get in a minimum number of session like 6 to 8. But when I talk about the facial hairs, especially for your upper lip area, the quality of the hair, it's very fine. It's in very lighter in tone. So the lighter tone color hair will have less melanin, as Dr. Monal was talking about melanin, right? So उसमें जितना कम melanin होगा उतना number of sessions ज़्यादा लग जाएगा, because our laser is working on the melanin. So depending on your body part also, the number of sessions may vary. Depending on your hormonal conditions and your medical condition also, the number of sessions may vary. Now, number of session, as you asked me, one will be more than enough, or kitna lag sakta hai minimum? That's what you were asking me, right?
Yes,
So now
yes.
I'll tell you scientifically, when we go about, our hair is having 3 cycles. It's not that, right? कि एक moment आता है every hair is growing, एक moment आया every hair is falling off, right? In our body we have few hairs which are in a growing stage. That's called scientifically, when I talk about, it's called anagen phase. There's a phase which comes like few hairs in our like 20 to 30% of the hair are in the falling stage. That is why whenever we comb our hair, we see that few strands are coming out. That's not a hair fall. That's something, it's a natural cycle. That's called a telogen phase, जो गिरता है. But that's in a layman term if I'll talk about. So laser is working only on a growing phase of your hairs. So supposedly, if you have like 100 hairs, out of that 100 hairs, your 40% of the hair is in right now in a growing phase. So laser is going to encounter only that 40% of the hair maximum. जो result आएगा. Rest 60% of the hair will wait, let them come in a growing phase, and again will just encounter them. So number of session will increase eventually. So we want to encounter every hair's growing phase. So that
Understood.
is why
Understood.
number of sessions which are required is more. Single session, as Dr. Monal was telling, we can see in a single session, trial session, 10 to 15%, there can be a difference of 10 to 15%. But if you want to see exactly the proper result, the desired result, you must be requiring like 6 to 8 session to see.
Understood. So, Dr. Afin, I have one question. So, you are saying, it also depends on a person to person.
Right.
So, if, supposedly I have a very sensitive skin, so does it also depend on how sensitive your skin is, the number
Uh,
of.
Laser is not depending on your sensitive of the skin. First thing, if you're moisturizing your skin properly, like your skin is nicely moist and hydrated, so laser is the best option for sensitive skin. If I'll say, when you do waxing or threading or epilating, what you usually do, you're pulling out your skin. You've become very rough on your skin, right? So that is going to increase the sensitivity of your skin. But in case if you're doing a laser, you might experience laser how it is. We are doing the shaving, and then there's only a gentle light which is passing on your skin. So eventually we are not disturbing your skin, we're just gently passing the light over your skin. So it is one of the best option for the sensitive skin. You're not on the rough, you're on a softer end for your skin.
That's great to hear because I feel a lot of women have sensitive skin. They're so particular. If they go out to buy anything, they're like, sensitive skin hair. What should I use? Because not everything suits their skin. But that's great
Right.
to know that laser hair reduction can suit sensitive skin as well. My next question is to Dr. Monal. Dr. Monal, very commonly asked question again. Can we wax or use an epilator before the first session or in between two sessions of laser hair reduction?
So you're asking that we can wax or we can epilate, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Can a
So
person do that?
yeah, got it. So in between the sessions, ideally, we are not supposed to wax, we are not supposed to thread, we are not supposed to epilate. Okay. The reason being, again, here, if we are doing this, we are pulling the hair away from the root. Okay. And when we are doing laser hair reduction, it is the root which is basically we are targeting. Okay. So we are basically destroying the hair follicle, or in normal terms, the hair root, right? So that root needs to be intact while we are doing the service. So in between the service, when we are doing laser and you feel that, I want to go out and you have a bit of hair here and there, you can always shave that area. Okay. But you cannot wax, you cannot thread, you cannot epilate, and you cannot even bleach it. Again, if we do bleaching, also what happens is the hair, we are changing the hair color. And as Dr. Afrin just mentioned, that it is the melanin what is required, right? So the melanin basically is going to absorb the heat. Okay. So the more the melanin in the hair, the better the results we can see. So it's always good that we should not do all these procedures in between, except shaving. Nothing should be done in between the procedure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Moral. I think this was again a very commonly asked question, and it's good that we addressed that. Now let's take up a few audience question. I feel we have been receiving quite a few, so I hope let's answer all of them. Okay, again, I think it's quite. This question is again from Mala. What should I do if there are any side effects? Like, what should a person do? Dr. Afeen, if you could help us answer this one.
If after the session you feel like any side effect is coming, you can connect to your doctor on the urban company. There's an option called talk to your doctor, wherever you'll place a query. Within an hour, you will receive a call from a doctor. You can share what exactly happened, kya hua. You can share the pictures with the doctor, and after analyzing and examining why it happened, we can just prescribe the medicine or how to go forward with it. So that's the thing, you should not worry. First thing, you should not worry. Secondly, in case agar aisa hota bhi hai, so don't worry, the doctor is still there behind you. After the session also, in between the session also, and before the session also, once you are booking in the leave with the urban company, so the doctor will be there for you to take care of it.
That's great, actually, because whenever we are facing any side effects, people have to go to outside to see a doctor, and considering the traffic jam these days, things can get worsened. It's great to know that someone can actually help you out at home only while you are in at your home and help you address the issue. Now, can we have one more question, please? Yeah. So Charu is asking Dr. Monal if you could help us out with this one. Does laser hair reduction work on vellus hair? I hope
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing that correctly. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Monal.
Yeah, you're right, Shubhangi. So good question, I would say. See, as we said, right, laser is going to work on the melanin content of your hair, right? So when we talk about the hair, which are very fine, okay, it has less amount of melanin in it, okay. And I would always say, if you have a vellus hair, the hair what you have it on the cheek, okay, that sort of hair ideally should not be treated with the help of laser hair reduction. Okay, so there are times when we feel like when we are taking the full face, why not we take it, on the cheek area as well. But if you have a softer hair, please do not take laser hair reduction on that particular part. As you said, vellus hair, that's the medical term what we use for these hair. So please do not do laser on those hair. Plus the hair area where you don't have hair, you should not do laser hair reduction on that area as well, okay, because it may lead to paradoxical hair growth, okay. So these two things should be avoided. If you have a thicker hair growth or an abnormal hair wherever you have on your face, the hair basically which you are treating with the help of waxing, with the help of threading, you can always opt for that.
That's great. That's great. Thank you so much, Dr. Monal. I hope, Charu, that answers your question. And again, audience, I can see none of you are using hashtag UZ Laser Lounge. In case you use the hashtag correctly, then you will get a 10% off, which you can redeem on any laser hair reduction service at Urban Company. And if you have any doubts about laser hair reduction company that happens at Urban Company, basically laser hair reduction, so you can just go to the pinned comment in the chat box, and you will be able to get all your answers there. Now, coming back to the frequently asked questions. So, Dr. Afreen, if someone is taking laser hair reduction sessions from somewhere else, maybe their local dermats or local skin clinics, can they start their service from Urban Company?
Yes, definitely. You can take the service from the urban company. Whenever you are taking a session from the urban company, I would suggest if you are the first time user, please book a consultation with a doctor. That can give us a more insight also, because we can examine how many sessions you have done from the outside. When was your last session done? How is your growth? And how is the growth pattern right now? And according to that, we can analyze your skin. We can see exactly, examine the quality of your hair via pictures and the video call, and then we can align our professional accordingly. So it's not that it's a for first time user only. If you have used, like if you've taken 4 sessions, 5 sessions from the outside, you have like lesser number of hairs or fine quality of the hair, so we can personally monitor it, and according to your hair quality and hair type, we can just set a parameter. We'll send the professional with the set parameters, and they will come back to your place, and then they can execute this session.
That's great. That's great, Dr. Afreen. So, Dr. Monal, if you could help us understand, how Dr. Afreen told us that there is a dermatologist available at Urban Company who, you can get on a call with. If someone wants to book a service at Urban Company, because I'm sure a lot of people are watching the session, they might want to go ahead and book a service. So, what are the different steps that are involved? How can a person book a session from Urban Company?
So I would say the app is very user friendly here. So you just need to directly go to the app. You need to check out which body part are you looking out for, and then book for a session for yourself. So as I said earlier, you have trial sessions which you can opt for, or you can opt for a bundles basically. And then you will be basically directed for a consultation. So there are two things here. One, you can obviously opt for a direct service. Okay, then also you will be directed first to a dermat consultation, because only after the consultation you can take up the service. Else, what you can do is you can first book a consultation for yourself. So on the app, we have a consultation price at just 49 rupees. You can go to the app, book a consultation, and you will be directed to one of the doctors. As per your convenience, you can book the consultation. It is going to be a video consultation, an online consultation. And then the doctor will guide you what next steps, what you're supposed to do. The doctor will also tell you about the pre-care instructions, what you need to follow prior to the service. So they will all prepare you prior to your service, okay, and then you can opt for either a single service or a complete bundle if you're looking at.
That sounds quite simple, I feel. And if any one of you want to know more, you can of course go to the pinned comment and check the Urban Company app. My next question is, does laser hair reduction affect the hair quality? or increase the hair growth in that particular area? Dr. Afreen, if you could help us answer this.
Laser hair reduction will definitely help out in hair reduction. First thing, the quality of the hair will be finer. Supposedly, if you have 1 of thick hair, just again example I'm giving you. So every time whenever you are taking the session, that hair which is coming back, which is already affected by the laser, the quality will become finer, 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 and then eventually the follicle will close and there won't be any hair which is coming out. So it is going to affect the quality of your hair, and number of hairs will eventually come down. So there will be a patchy growth. You can see if this is an area, this is an area, so there can be a patchy growth, like यहाँ पे growth आ रही है, यहाँ पे growth नहीं आई है. Because as I told you in my previous answers also, not hair, all hairs are in an anagen phase, growing phase. So depending on that, the quality of the hairs and the number of the hair will be affected, but not on a reverse side. But again, as Dr. Monal was telling about the vellus hair, or the area which is not having any hair, agar wahan pe, when if we are doing the laser, there can be a chances of a paradoxical growth. So it is very necessary to do the laser under the guidance of a doctor, so that we can tell them exactly which location is suitable for their laser hair reduction, or they should take it or not.
That's great. That's great. Coming on to the last question, Dr. Monal, if you could help us answer this, then of course, we will come to a few more audience questions before we wrap up the session for today. So, Dr. Monal, are there any restrictions on exposure to the sun after taking the treatment, or are there any specific things that a person should keep in mind, once they take laser hair reduction service? Any necessary protocol to follow just after the sessions?
Yeah, so there are a set of protocols or post care instructions, I would say, what a customer needs to follow post the service. So we do reiterate these points again and again to the customer so that they follow it properly. Okay, the first thing post the service, just immediately after the service, you should not use any hot water. You can just clean your face with a normal water or a cold water. You should not do any activities which involve a lot of sweating, like going to gym, going for a steam or sauna, or going for a walking. A brisk walk should be fine, but for the particular day, please try avoiding that. Also would be great. So any activity which involves sweating, please avoid that. Then any active ingredients, if you're using actives in the sense which has retinoic acid in it, which has retinols in it, or adapalene in it. Okay, these things should be avoided at least for minimum 3 days. Okay, the reason being, it makes your skin very sensitive, right? So on a sensitive skin, if we are using this, there may be chances of bruises. So we usually avoid it for 3 days. And also, the use of a sunscreen here is very, very important. The use of a moisturizer here is very, very important, because we are going to shave the area prior to the service, and then we give you the laser shots. The skin becomes little sensitive here, so moisturizing is very, very important. Plus sunscreen, a proper sunscreen, a medicated sunscreen as per your skin type you're supposed to use. If you're treating your underarm area, please avoid any roll-ons or any deodorants or any spray at that particular body part, mostly your underarm area. So majorly these are the things which you need to follow post the service. Sun should be avoided for at least a day or two. Okay. So the harsh sun, basically in between the time of 12 to 4, that should be avoided. Next, you can go off using a sunscreen. You can move forward. One more thing here, sunscreen. When we're talking about the effect of a sunscreen, lasts only for about 3 to 4 hours. After which you need to reapply that again. So that thing should be kept in mind. And prior to sun exposure, 20 minutes prior to that, you should apply the sunscreen on your skin so that it has a much better effect. It will shield you basically from the harsh sun.
That's a great advice in general, also, I believe, Dr. Monal. A lot of people don't know that, sunscreen needs to be applied after 3 hours regularly. So these tips will come in very handy, I feel, for someone who is considering laser hair reduction. So now let's take, before wrapping up the session, before summarizing it, let's just take two more audience questions and then we can just go ahead. Oh, great. So the next question is by Rupi. And I'm really happy that she has used the hashtag. So the hashtag that you have to use, audience, is hashtag UC Laser Lounge. So Rupi has asked, is laser hair treatment recommended for all, even those who have sensitive skin? Please suggest. I think we discussed this some time back, but if Dr. Afreen, if you could help us address this question, maybe Rupi joined in late.
Yeah. So yes, laser hair reduction is recommended for all, but you need to go for your medical condition. We need to check the medical condition, and depending on that we can tell you how many sessions are required or not. And secondly, when you talk about sensitive skin, so yes, laser is one of the safest and go to procedure, I can say, for any sensitive skin area. Depending you don't have any medical and skin issues like vitiligo, or you don't have a psoriasis, that condition, or allergic to something, histamine and all that. So depending on your conditions, laser is recommended for all. Especially, just sorry to cut you down, but the one who's having a white hair, like we have female above 45 or 40 usually see white hairs, one or two popping out. So I would just say ki white hairs people, I won't recommend the person who's having a white hair thing. So laser is only going to work on the black hair, not on the white hair. So it is recommended for all, but you'll have to see your conditions also exactly, and what quality of the hairs you have. If you have like out of 10 two white hairs, you can still go for a laser, but please don't expect a result on the white hair. That we can treat only 8 hairs out of the 10 hairs, because two are already white, right? So depending on the hair which you have, depending on the medical conditions and all, we can definitely take laser for all, everybody.
So I think that answers Rupi's question. If we can have last question for today. Bhavna is asking, Dr. Monal, if you could help us answer this one. Ma'am, I have a lot of thick hair on my chin. Will the laser work on that black thick hair on the chin? I think most of us know the answer, but if you could help us
Sure,
answer
sure.
Bhavna's question.
Hi, Bhavna. So, Bhavna, you are an ideal candidate or an ideal customer to take up a laser hair reduction. Okay. So, when we talk about, when we were telling you about the unwanted hair, these are the unwanted hair we were talking about. So, chin is a hormone dependent area, right? First thing here, you will have to just check whether it is related to which hormones, okay? Whether it is your hypothyroidism issue or it is a issue related to your PCOD. Just rule out these, okay? So there are two things here: internal factor, external factors. Okay, so internal factor is if you have any of these medical issues which is leading to these unwanted hair, that needs to be treated. Externally, laser is going to treat your hair, and this is the best way to remove the hair. The reason being, if you are doing waxing, if you're doing threading, okay, on your chin area, down the lane after 3 4 months or after 5 6 months, you would see your skin becomes very very rough. The skin becomes also dark. The reason being, there is a lot of friction which is done when there is waxing involved or threading involved. So ideally, laser will work out wonders for you, but you would require minimum of 8 to 10 sessions, or somewhere around 10 to 12 sessions also. But you can always start up with 6 sessions, see yourself the results after 6 sessions, and then we can upgrade it based on how many more number of sessions would be required. Yeah.
I think that answers Bhavna's question. So I think let's wrap up the session. So, Dr. Molan and Dr. Afreen, you have actually enlightened us with such great knowledge, which will be extremely beneficial to everyone who is considering, to get laser hair reduction done. So, thank you so much, doctors. Thank you so much, audience, for joining in. If any one of you has any other questions, you can, of course, check out the Urban Company Laser Hair Reduction page. The link is pinned in the comment box. And even if you have any more questions, you can leave on this comment box, and we can later on in the next live session maybe answer that question. Thank you so much for everyone for joining in today.